Assalamualaikum, madam, and good evening.
Wassalam.
If possible, today I'd like to conduct an interview for my subject, counseling and guidance.
Okay.
Would you like to do a brief introduction about yourself?
About myself,
Yeah.
I'm. Do I have to look at the camera?
You can look at me.
Are you in the camera?
Yes.
I'm Puan Haliza. Currently, I'm teaching in College Dekat Anam Tapa. But I just moved here for about 2 years plus. And before this, I taught in SMK Hamid Han for 25 years. So this is my 28th year of teaching.
Mm, great history. Throughout your years of teaching, have you faced any difficulties in regards to misbehavior?
Currently, not so many problems because in College Dekat Anam, mostly the students are selected, so I don't face any problem regarding misbehavior. But however, when I was teaching in mainstream, the SMK Hamid Han, I did face problems in terms of behavior. Mostly, they refuse to be in the classroom actually. They do not want to they did not want to be in the classroom, they didn't want to go to school, but actually they were forced to go to school by their parents.
Did you take any necessary steps to combat these issues of misbehavior?
Normally I just handle it myself. I just gave warning. It depends on the students itself actually. When the misconduct, when they, for example, sleeping in the classroom, okay, they did not want to learn, they sleep in the classroom. Normally what I did was, if it it were the same students, I just ignore actually, because if I were to take action, if I were to nag, if I were to scold them, it will, the other students will be affected. So normally what I did was just ignore them. They wanted to sleep, just let them sleep. But then again, if the behavior is like making noise, distracting the class, I would warn them, I scold them, and if it got worse, I called the discipline teacher.
Before you became a teacher, during your training period, how do you describe it?
Describe what?
Your training period before you truly became a teacher, perhaps during your practical years.
Practical years. Students, I taught Form 1 and Form 2 students when I did my practical. So Form 1 and Form 2 students, normally they love practical teachers. No problem.
That's good.
But then again, my perception towards teaching is like I would not face so much problems. But then when the reality, it came to reality, then this is the real thing. So it's like my expectation swayed lah in a way.
How do you describe your current teaching experience in this school?
Amazing, lovely, because not so much problems regarding students, so I can teach with a lot of participation from the students. Then I can do discussion with them, so not so much problem being compared to mainstream. Mainstream is like one way. It's me teaching. Here it's like two ways communication. I can get feedbacks, I can get information from them, so it's a kind of sharing of knowledge.
Yes. Can you share any interesting insights in terms of the students' behavior in this school?
Okay, in terms of behavior, actually, there's not so many major issues, but then they are just being lazy. They like to rebel. Mostly these students who like to rebel mostly come from broken families. So we can see this whenever we have problems. Sometimes when we ask them the background of their parents, things like that. Normally they come from broken families. Sometimes they come with not even having proper breakfast, not having enough money. So they tend to rebel. Sometimes they steal money. They steal money. They even steal people's food, their friends' food, for them to eat. Normal problems, other problems like sleeping in the classroom, not interested to learn, um, uh, having a fight, gang, you know, the Malays, the Chinese, the Indians, normally they fight with each other.
Lots of misbehaviors.
Yes.
Throughout your years of teaching, what would you say is a teacher's role in a student's life?
Teacher's role. Okay. I'm being honest here.
Mm.
Okay, initially when I started teaching, I'll always advise the students. Advise, okay, why do you need to study? Why do you need to have a good education? Things like that. But throughout the years, when the matter still continues, actually, it's still the same problem. So sometimes the teachers, me myself, got tired of it. So sometimes I resort to just okay, whatever lah, ignore. So but sometimes if the problems is very serious, I refer them to counseling, okay, or refer them to the discipline teacher. But sometimes it's problems like sleeping, no interest in study, sometimes I just ignore them. Because throughout the years, you know, you are getting tired of it. Being honest.
Could you shed some light on some of the actions the school has taken to deal with these disciplinary and misbehavioral issues?
Okay. Sometimes it depends on the severity of their misconduct. For example, if they smoke in the school area, the discipline teacher would just like because they are allowed to cane the students, so they will cane. Normally, what school does is to call their parents and to discuss with their parents of their misconduct, of their children's misconduct. However, I do remember one incident when two students were very naughty. They like to disrupt the class. They like to have fight with their friends. So what the PKM did at that time was to put them in AK class.
AK class?
AK class means agama khas. Agama khas meaning that normally all Malay students with uh, their religion is Islam lah,
Yeah.
obviously. Normally they are good students. They have Bahasa Arab, they have KKQ. KKQ is Kemahiran Al-Quran. So these two students who were very naughty, they were in the last class. So they brought a lot of problems. So the action taken by the PKM was to put them in this AK class. Um, Alhamdulillah, although in terms of academic, they did not perform. But then in terms of behavior, um, there were some changes. From being very naughty, like to fight, because maybe in the class there's nobody they want to fight with.
Yeah.
So they just had to follow whatever that the class they had to learn Al-Quran. So these students had to learn also. So eventually, until the end of the year, the behavior was better. But not academically. Because maybe they were from the last class, but in terms of behavior, they were better. In fact, I heard, because I came here already. I heard when they were in Form 5, they were awarded this. I do not know, because of they were Pusat Sumber students, so they had like they were like journalists muda, okay, wartawan muda. They interviewed people. They had their own program, so they were awarded with that. There was a title, but I forgot all about it. But I remembered that student when they were in Form 2, they were very, very naughty.
So through discipline, they were given another chance to excel in studies and to accomplish things for themselves.
Yes. So that was for me is a good action, not just like giving punishment to them. For me, it's a good idea. But then again, you cannot apply that to other races like Chinese or Indian, because to put them in AK class then would be will bring an issue.
Public schools don't really delve into other religions.
Yeah, we did, but then again, we cannot put them in AK class.
Oh.
If they were they misbehave.
Unless we have multiple AK classes for other religions, or do you
AK
think
is
there's not
agama
much?
khas because agama is then we had subjects like bahasa Arab, kemahiran Al-Quran. So we cannot have, I don't know, I'm not so sure about that.
Yes. For my last question, in this school, do you think there are any positive initiatives that are taken to ensure that a more different positive attitude is instilled in the students?
In the students. Sometimes when I look back with the different approaches that the teachers do, I came to a conclusion that we should deal these students in a positive ways. Punishment is not so does not really work when it comes to teenagers, especially age 16, 17, and now 18 years old. Uh, More positive ways like giving advice, giving background information, sharing of information, maybe sharing with them that we ourselves did mistake and we did not want you to do the same mistake, things like that. For example, I think your mother knew already, we had tazkirah with these students, okay, female students related to Solat. Okay, because many students they did not perform their solat, especially during the prayer time, because they are allotted to pray, allotted time to pray, but they did not go to the surah and pray. So what we did was we just gave talk to them and not scold, because scolding they would be rebellious. But then if you will talk nicely, then they would listen. But Alhamdulillah, compared, from one soft, it has become three, four soft. So maybe in terms of according to their age, I think at this age it would be better to have a small talk, pep talk, more positive ways, not by giving punishment or scolding. That what I would.
Mm, that's good to hear. Mm. Overall, how would you describe your teaching experience?
Teaching experience, I've been teaching 28 years, so I have ups and downs, but mostly the best part for me being a teacher when you see your students successful. Sometimes they come and see me, they say they're working here, they're studying here, so they have good families, things like that. That what makes me happy.
Mm,
That is the most fulfilling part of being a teacher for me.
that's good to hear.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof, for oh, sorry. Thank you, Madam, for answering my questions today.
Welcome, you're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Mm.